Okay, so real talk before we even say hello properly. I woke up today, reached for my phone at 6:47 in the morning, and somehow by 6:52, I had already read the news, checked 3 messages, and felt slightly annoyed at a stranger on the internet before my feet even touched the floor.
David, that is not a fun fact. That is a diagnosis.
I know, but that's exactly why we're talking about this today.
Hey everyone, welcome back to English FB. I'm Sarah.
And I'm David, and today we're talking about something that sounds boring on paper, but is honestly running your entire life without you noticing. Daily routines.
Yes, not some dramatic life story, not how I moved to another country and became a new person, just your morning, your evening, the small stuff.
The small stuff that quietly decides whether you feel calm or completely frazzled by 9 a.m.
Oh, frazzles. I like that word already, and we just started.
Hold that thought. We'll come back to it. But before we go further, quick reminder for anyone new here. This is English FB, and what we do is pretty simple. We just talk. Real conversations, real pace, real vocabulary, and you listen in. And somewhere in the middle of laughing at us, your English gets better without it ever feeling like a boring class.
Exactly. No grammar lecture, no repeat after me energy, just two people talking about life, and English kind of sneaks in.
Sneaks in and steals your attention. So, today, daily routines. And Sarah, I actually want to start with a question. Do you have a morning routine, like an actual one?
I have a morning reality, David, that's different from a routine.
Okay, tell me about the reality.
The reality is my alarm goes off. I hit snooze twice. I have a small argument with myself about whether I really need those extra 9 minutes. I lose the argument, and then I'm sprinting around my apartment looking for one specific sock.
The sock is always missing, always. It's like socks have a secret life we don't know about.
They're plotting something, I'm sure of it. But honestly, that chaos, that rushed, messy start, it follows me. Like the whole day just feels a little off after a morning like that.
Right, and that's the whole point. People think, oh, it's just one rushed morning. No big deal. But when just one becomes basically every single day.
It stops being a small thing and starts being your whole personality.
Exactly. And here's something interesting. There's actually an old saying, as you start the day, so you live the day. I first heard it from my grandfather, actually, years ago. I used to visit him in the summer, and every single morning, no matter what, he'd wake up, make tea, sit by the window for like 10 minutes before doing anything else. No phone, obviously. He didn't even have a smartphone. But he wouldn't rush into the day at all.
That's such a specific image, tea in a window.
Right? And one day I asked him, why do you just sit there? And he said, David, if you run into the day will run over you. And honestly, 20-something years later, I finally understand what that means.
Wow. Okay, that hit different.
It did, right? Because when you rush, when you're overstimulated before you even leave the house.
Wait, overstimulated. Explain that one, because I feel like people use it but don't always know exactly what it means.
Sure. So overstimulated basically means your brain is getting way too much input at once. Too much noise, too many notifications, too much information hitting you all in a short time. And your nervous system just can't process it fast enough. It's like your mind has 15 tabs open before you've even had coffee.
Oh, that's so accurate. It's almost uncomfortable.
Right? Like you open your eyes, and within 2 minutes, you've seen the news, a work message, someone's vacation photos, and an ad for shoes you never asked for.
The shoes always find you. Always.
The internet is very confident in its shoe opinions.
Too confident. But okay, so if a chaotic, overstimulated morning kind of poisons the rest of the day, what actually helps? Because I don't think the answer is wake up at 5 a.m. and meditate for an hour, because, David, that's just not happening for most of us.
No, definitely not. And honestly, I don't think it needs to be that extreme. I think it's more about being intentional, just doing things on purpose instead of on autopilot.
Intentional, meaning like choosing what you do instead of just reacting?
Exactly, yeah. Intentional means you're doing something consciously, with a bit of thought behind it, not automatically, not because your hand just grabbed the phone without your brain even agreeing to it.
Guilty. My hand definitely acts before my brain gives permission.
Same. But even something tiny, like drinking a glass of water before checking your phone, or opening the curtains and just standing there for 30 seconds, that's intentional. It sends a little message to your brain like, hey, we're not panicking, we're just beginning.
I really like that phrase. We're not panicking, we're just beginning. That's kind of beautiful, actually.
It's a low bar, but it works.
Okay, quick pause because I want to remind everyone listening. If this kind of natural, honest conversation is helping your English feel more real and less like a textbook, do us a favor. Hit subscribe and share this episode with a friend who's also learning. It genuinely helps the channel keep going, and honestly, it helps more people find us.
Yes, seriously, every share means a lot to us. Okay, back to mornings. So we talked about the start of the day, being intentional, easing in instead of crashing in.
Ease into. I like that phrase too. Like gently entering something instead of just jumping straight into chaos.
Exactly. To ease into something means you begin it slowly, softly, without forcing it. Instead of opening your eyes and immediately going to war with your inbox, you give yourself, 5 minutes of just being a normal human.
Revolutionary concept.
Shockingly revolutionary, yes. But okay, mornings aren't the whole story though, right? Because you can have the calmest morning in the world, and then by 2 p.m., you're still completely drained.
Oh, 100%. I think that's actually where I struggle more, honestly, the middle of the day. I start okay, and then somewhere around lunchtime, I just feel depleted, like someone unplugged me.
Depleted, yeah, that's such a good word for it. It basically means your energy is almost completely used up, like your internal battery is down to 2% and blinking red.
That's exactly the feeling. And it's so weird because I didn't even do anything that dramatic. I just answered emails and sat in 2 meetings.
Right, but I think that's the thing people don't realize. You don't only get tired from big effort. You get tired from constant switching between tasks, switching screens, switching conversations in your head.
Can I confess something? My phone buzzes probably, 200 times a day, and every single time, some tiny part of my brain goes, check it now, even if I'm in the middle of something important.
Oh, that's such a real thing. And it's not really your fault either. Apps are literally designed to grab your attention like that.
True. But knowing that doesn't stop the buzzing. So a few months ago, I started turning off almost all notifications, keeping only calls and maybe 2 apps. And honestly, the silence felt strange at first, almost uncomfortable.
Interesting. Uncomfortable how?
Like I kept reaching for my phone out of habit, expecting something to be there, and there just wasn't anything. But after a week or so, my brain actually calmed down, like it stopped waiting for the next little interruption.
That makes so much sense, because if your brain is constantly on alert, waiting for the next buzz, it never really settles into whatever you're actually doing.
Exactly. It's like trying to read a book while someone taps you on the shoulder every 90 seconds.
Impossible to focus on the story like that.
Completely impossible. So now I actually check messages in specific little windows, like once in the morning, once after lunch, once in the evening, instead of all day long.
See, that's such a great example of what we're talking about. A routine doesn't have to be some big fancy system. Sometimes it's literally just turn off the notifications and check things on your own schedule instead of theirs.
Oh, and can we talk about lunch for a second? Because I feel like lunch has become this weird, sad little event in most people's days. Like you eat in front of a screen, half paying attention, and 20 minutes later, you couldn't even tell someone what you ate.
It's true. I've genuinely forgotten what I ate for lunch the same day. Someone asked me at 6 p.m. and I just sat there blinking.
See, that's the thing, though. It's not really about the food. It's about presence. If you're eating while scrolling, while replying to messages, while half watching a video, your brain never actually gets a break. It's just doing 3 things instead of 1, and none of them well.
Right. And I think that's actually a big reason people feel tired, even on days when nothing hard happened. It's not effort, it's fragmentation. Your attention is just scattered across 10 little pieces all day long.
Fragmentation. Ooh, that's a good word too. But let's not add too many at once. We'll circle back to the important ones later.
Fair. Okay, so back to switching.
Oh my gosh, yes, switching. Like you sit down to reply to one message and somehow 20 minutes later you're reading about, the history of some random topic you never cared about before.
The internet rabbit hole. So easy to fall into. Weirdly hard to climb out of.
It's basically quicksand, but with more ads.
That's a perfect description, actually. So that's where I think it helps to carve out little pockets of space during the day. Not big breaks necessarily, just small ones.
Carve out, meaning you make time for something on purpose, even when your schedule's packed?
Exactly, yeah. You create the space yourself instead of hoping it magically appears somewhere in your day. Because honestly, it never just appears on its own.
No, it really doesn't. Space in your schedule is like the missing sock. It's not coming back by itself. You have to go find it.
Okay, that's a great comparison, actually. So maybe it's a 10-minute walk without your phone, or eating lunch without also watching 5 videos and replying to messages at the same time.
Honestly, when's the last time I ate a meal without also doing 3 other things? I genuinely can't remember.
See, that's the modern condition right there. But here's the thing. I don't think routines are only about being productive or getting more done. I actually think a good routine is more like emotional support.
Ooh, say more about that.
Well, think about it. When life feels uncertain or stressful or just heavy in general, small repeated habits become really grounding. Like making tea at the same time every evening or laying out your clothes the night before. These things are tiny, but they create familiarity.
And familiarity feels safe.
Exactly. It's like your brain goes, oh, I know this. I've done this before. Everything's fine.
That's honestly kind of comforting to think about. Adulthood really is just getting weirdly excited that you prepared your bag the night before.
100%. And calling it emotional stability.
Which, low-key, it actually is.
It really is. And I think evenings especially matter so much because the way you end your day kind of decides how the next one starts.
Oh, that's so true. And honestly, evenings are where I fall apart the most because by then I'm tired, I'm a little irritable, and I just kind of throw myself toward bed with zero closure.
Zero closure. That's exactly it. And that's why evening habits should be restorative.
Restorative, meaning it actually helps you recover, gives energy back instead of taking more from you.
Exactly, yes. And it doesn't need to be fancy. Lower lighting, less screen time, maybe reading a few pages of something calm, or just 10 quiet minutes with literally no input at all.
See, the funny thing is, people say they're relaxing in the evening, but then they're emotionally invested in 15 strangers arguing online.
Painfully accurate. Or they check just one message before bed and somehow end up researching something completely random at midnight.
And then wonder why their brain is basically hosting a full conference at 1 a.m.
A conference nobody invited it to attend.
Honestly, I had to change one specific habit myself. I used to check messages literally seconds before turning off the light, and every single time, without fail, I'd read something slightly stressful and then lie there for an hour thinking about it.
Oh, that's the worst. Your body's ready for sleep, but your brain just picked a fight with itself.
Exactly. So now I have this rule. No messages after a certain point. Phone goes on the other side of the room. And honestly, it sounds small, but it changed my sleep completely.
See, that's such a good example of what we're talking about. It's not a huge lifestyle overhaul. It's literally just phone goes over there instead of next to your pillow.
Right. Tiny rule, big difference. Okay, so before we keep going, I actually want to bring up a phrase because I think it fits everything we've been saying. Going through the motions. So going through the motions basically means you're doing something, but you're not really present. Not really feeling it, you're just functioning.
Right, like your body shows up, but your mind checked out somewhere along the way.
Exactly. So like you can go through the motions at work, smiling, answering emails, nodding in meetings, but inside you're basically on autopilot.
Your soul is buffering.
Okay, that's exactly the feeling. So if you catch yourself going through the motions a lot, that's usually a sign your routine needs a little adjusting somewhere.
Definitely. Actually, real quick, can I bring up something kind of random? Weekends.
Oh, weekends, go on.
So I noticed something about myself. On weekdays, I have some kind of structure, even a messy one. But on weekends, I completely lose all shape. Like Saturday morning, I wake up and I genuinely don't know what time it is, what day it is, nothing.
The weekend fog, yes, I know it well.
And then Sunday evening hits, and suddenly there's this heavy feeling, like dread almost, because Monday's coming, and you realize you didn't rest at all. You just existed for 2 days in a blur.
Oh my gosh, the Sunday scaries. That's actually a real phrase people use for that exact feeling.
Sunday scaries. I love that. And I think the reason it happens is because we treat routine and rest like they're opposites. Like resting means throwing away all structure completely.
Right, when actually a little bit of gentle structure on weekends, not a strict schedule, just like waking up around a similar time, still going outside for a bit, still eating actual meals, that can protect you from that crash on Sunday night.
Exactly. It's not about being productive on weekends. It's just about not completely abandoning your body's rhythm for 2 days and then being shocked when Monday feels brutal.
That makes so much sense, actually. Okay, noted. Less weekend chaos for me starting this week.
We'll see how long that lasts. All right, so we've covered mornings, the middle of the day, weekends, evenings, but I want to bring up one more thing because I think it's honestly the most underrated idea in all of this.
Go for it.
A better life doesn't usually start with some huge dramatic change. It's not one big Monday where suddenly everything is perfect. It's built from small, repeated, kind of unimpressive looking actions.
A glass of water, a slower morning, a short walk.
Exactly. None of that looks exciting on social media. Nobody's filming a dramatic video about, I drank water before coffee today. But over time,
It actually changes how your whole life feels.
completely. And I think that's such a relief, honestly, because it means you don't need some massive transformation. You just need to be a little kinder to your own schedule.
A little kinder to your own nervous system, basically.
Oh, actually, before we move to the word tour, I want to mention one more thing, because I think people are way too hard on themselves when their routine falls apart.
Oh, this is important. Yes, keep going.
Like, say you build this nice little morning routine, water, stretching, a calm start, and then one day, life just happens. You oversleep, or there's an emergency, or you just genuinely don't have the energy, and the whole thing collapses.
And then people spiral into this whole, I've ruined everything, I'm back to zero mindset.
Exactly. And that's honestly the part that breaks routines the fastest. Not the missed day itself, but the guilt afterward. And then people just give up completely instead of simply starting again the next morning.
Right. One missed day doesn't erase 2 weeks of good habits, but people treat it like it does.
Totally. It's kind of like if you trip once while walking, you don't lie on the ground forever. You just get up and keep walking.
That is such a David thing to say, but honestly, yes, exactly that.
I also think this applies at work, like your actual workspace, your desk, your setup. If your desk is a complete disaster zone, papers everywhere, 17 browser tabs open, 3 half-finished coffees.
Guilty on the coffee thing. I currently have 2 cold cups sitting near my laptop as we speak.
See? And that visual chaos actually adds to the mental chaos. It's not separate from it. So even something as simple as clearing your desk for 2 minutes before you start working can genuinely shift how focused you feel.
That's true. I always notice that when my space is a mess, my thoughts feel messier too. Like there's this weird connection between the two.
There really is. So small rituals, small resets throughout the whole day, not just morning and evening, little moments where you basically tell your brain, okay, we're resetting here, starting fresh.
Yes, exactly that. You know, David, I think what we're really describing here is just becoming a creature of habit, but in a good way.
Ooh, creature of habit. That's a fun one. So if you're a creature of habit, it means you like doing things the same way, over and over. You're not really a fan of sudden changes to your routine.
Right. And usually people say that phrase like it's a bad thing, like, oh, he's such a creature of habit, so boring. But honestly, I think being a creature of habit in the right way is actually a bit of a superpower.
I completely agree. There's a difference between being stuck in a habit that drains you and choosing habits that actually support you. One is a trap. The other is basically a gift you give yourself every single day.
That's such a nice way to put it. Okay, I think we've officially convinced ourselves to become better creatures of habit by the end of this episode.
That's the goal. Okay, before we wrap up, let's slow down together and do our word tour, because we use some really good words and phrases today, and I want them to actually stick with you, not just fly past.
Yes, let's go through them one by one. First up, intentional.
Intentional means done on purpose with awareness, not automatically, not by accident. For example, she became more intentional about her mornings and stopped checking her phone the second she woke up.
Or he made an intentional choice to leave work on time and protect his evenings. Repeat, intentional.
Intentional. Next, overstimulated.
Overstimulated means your brain is getting too much input at once, too much noise, too much information, and it starts to feel like too much. For example, after an hour of scrolling, she felt completely overstimulated and couldn't focus on anything.
Or he felt overstimulated by all the notifications, so he put his phone in another room for a while. Repeat, overstimulated.
Overstimulated. Now, depleted.
Depleted means extremely drained, like your energy is almost completely used up. For example, by the end of the week, she felt totally depleted after so many late nights.
Or he looked fine on the outside, but honestly, he was emotionally depleted. Repeat, depleted.
Depleted. Next up, frazzled. The one you liked earlier, Sarah.
Yes, frazzled means mentally scattered, stressed, a little overwhelmed, like your patience is running thin and your thoughts are messy. For example, after jumping between 5 different tasks, she felt completely frazzled.
Or he showed up to dinner looking totally frazzled after a long day of meetings. Repeat, frazzled.
Frazzled. Now a phrasal verb, carve out.
Carve out means to make time for something intentionally, even when your schedule is already busy. For example, she carved out 20 minutes every evening just to sit quietly and clear her head.
Or he had to carve out time for exercise because his week was completely packed. Repeat, carve out.
Carve out. Next, ease into.
Ease into means to begin something slowly and gently, without pressure or rushing. For example, instead of checking emails right away, she eased into her morning with tea and quiet music.
Or he prefers to ease into his workday rather than jumping straight into stressful tasks. Repeat, ease into.
Ease into. And finally, going through the motions.
Going through the motions means doing something automatically, without real feeling or focus. Your body's there, but your mind isn't fully engaged. For example, for a while, she was just going through the motions at work, feeling completely disconnected.
Or he smiled and nodded, but really, he was just going through the motions. Repeat, going through the motions.
Going through the motions. And one last one, a fun idiom, creature of habit.
A creature of habit is someone who likes routine, who prefers to do things the same way rather than constantly changing them up. For example, he's such a creature of habit, he orders the exact same coffee every single morning.
Or she's a creature of habit. She always takes the same route home, even when there's a faster one. Repeat, creature of habit.
Creature of habit. And honestly, that phrase kind of brings us right back to the whole point of today's episode.
It really does, because a better routine isn't about doing more. It's about actually noticing when you've stopped feeling present in your own day.
Exactly. And sometimes the smallest changes bring you right back to yourself. A calmer morning, a softer evening, a little more breathing room in between.
So if your days have been feeling rushed or messy or just kind of heavy lately, maybe the answer isn't some huge life overhaul. Maybe it's just smaller, but more intentional and definitely less frantic.
Yes, definitely less frantic. And honestly, I think that's a nice place for us to pause today, because this conversation was really about building a life that feels a little calmer, a little clearer, and a little kinder, one small habit at a time.
Not a perfect life, not some dramatic before and after transformation, just small, steady routines that help you feel less rushed and a lot more present in your own day.
Okay, before we go, tell us in the comments, what's one part of your daily routine that honestly stresses you out the most? Be brutally honest. We will not judge you, we promise.
Or, if you're feeling more positive today, tell us one small habit that actually makes your life a little calmer. We genuinely love to hear it.
Yes, and while you're there, maybe try using one of today's words in your comment. Intentional, frazzled, carve out, whichever one felt the most like you.
Honestly, mine's easy. It's the missing sock thing. That happens weekly, without fail.
The socks know exactly what they're doing. I stand by that theory.
They really do. All right, that's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for spending this time with us. We genuinely appreciate you being here.
If you like this conversation, don't forget to subscribe, share it with someone learning English with you, and we'll catch you in the next episode.
This is David.
And this is Sarah.
And you've been listening to English FB. See you next time.